Yeah, I wanna take my horse to the old town road. I wanna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the back.
Yeah.
Horse stock is attached.
Yeah.
Hat is matty black.
Yeah.
I forgot the rest of the lyrics. How are you guys doing today? Hello, my friends.
How you guys doing today? Hello, my friends.
All right. Well, today is a special day. Man, this is very, very difficult to get into. Well, we have another guest episode today. Just to tell you all that to get things started.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on, I must say my infamous saying. Episode 13, baby. You're not gonna do it with me?
Get it! Let's go.
Let's go. All right. All right. Well, today we're recording on January 19th, which is the day after Martin Luther King's birthday. So before we introduce our guests, I did want to say a little bit about that. First, I'll let Emery start off if you have anything to say.
Martin Luther King Jr., he is the reason that we're able to do this podcast today. He's the reason why we're able to be Americans and actually just be here around each other and celebrate black excellence.
Absolutely.
So, everything that we have can be attributed to him, and he should be paid due respect for that.
Absolutely. A man such as him is truly inspiring. It's truly inspiring to see one singular human have an effect on so many other humans. And it's this type of man that I aspire to be. And I may do it in a different way. I love doing it through science. But at the end of the day, it goes down to just connecting people. And that's what he ultimately did. He inspired so many people to blaze the trail. And now we're able to have things such as podcasts. And the world is so much more inclusive today now that we had them.
Me and Caleb, we always talk about in the podcast how you have to make your dreams become reality. And Caleb, what was the name of Dr. Martin Luther King's iconic speech?
I have a dream.
And you know what he did? He made that a reality, not for him, but for us.
A master of manifestation.
That's just beautiful.
Absolutely, man.
But enough paying respect. You already know what time it is.
Let's
welcome our guest
started.
in here.
Bring it in, boys. Go. Yes, sir.
Hold on.
What's good, y'all, boys?
We spacing things out a little bit.
Hey, don't forget about Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. It's underrated people with the black movement, man.
Absolutely. All right, well, introduce yourself, man. What's your name?
I'm John. I'm just a normal guy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, nothing special. People like me, people hate me, but let's see what I can bring to the podcast.
Yeah, man,
All right.
absolutely.
Let's get it.
So, as I ask every guest before they come in and, say their stuff, who are you?
I'm just a human trying to be the best guy I can be, just be better every single day, and just leave a lasting impact on everybody that I come across and everybody I encounter.
I like that. Powerful stuff.
He's John.
Yeah, I'm him.
He's John.
All right, man. John, baby. All right.
That's John for you, baby. All right, let's go.
Is there any other pleasantries we can do, or are we getting right into it?
Like I said before, I think it's pleasant enough just listening to our voices. So let's get it on.
All right, man.
Freaky.
Let's go. All right, so, wow. So last week, I was a little upset. Well, wait. Last week, we did upload it on Sunday, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, last episode, I was a little upset because although the storming of the Capitol was very significant, we do usually start episodes with my beloved science topics. So this week on episode 13, we're starting with science, baby. Let's go. So, not many people have heard about this, and I'm not exactly sure on how to pronounce this this object, but it's called Omuamua. Okay, and this theoretical physicist from Harvard named Avi Loeb, he just put out a book basically about his theory about how this Oumuamua is alien tech from another star system. So I first came across this when he appeared on Joe Rogan podcast and the Lex Friedman podcast, and he's just touring around. He's been just basically putting out his theory. So let me explain just the abstract nature of Oumuamua. So, for one, everybody should know about gravity. Okay, gravity is one of the fundamental forces that bring all of our reality and all of our universe
Isaac
together.
Newton.
Yes, partly Isaac Newton, and then Albert Einstein later on with his general theory of relativity in 1915, basically showing us what gravity truly is. You can picture gravity as more of a curvature of space-time, right? So in this space-time curvature, massive objects such as stars are able to keep all of these smaller objects in its pull, okay? So things such as asteroids and comets, or just anything like space rocks, anything, it's all within this huge star's pull. So on October 9th, 2017, that's when we first saw or observed Oumuamua. The thing is, it was an interstellar object. It was not from our solar system. So that was the first sort of weird thing, because it's very unlikely we get things that are not in our solar system, just because a star's gravitational pull is so massive that it's just things don't escape it, right?
Yeah.
Without any sort of propelling factor. All right. So, just to characterize it a little bit, it's about 400 meters long, and it's about 10 times longer than it is wide. So that's unlike any of the asteroids that we have seen.
Aspect ratio.
Right. So the aspect ratio is way different than almost anything we've ever seen.
So
right?
like, to put it in perspective, that means like outside of our solar system, something like that has characteristics comparable to a star possibly force this Oumuamua into our.
Well, so right, it could have been it's the characteristics, I guess, supersede what a star would have done.
Oh, okay.
So we already measured what the possible velocity that it would be traveling at if a star pushed it towards us. But what we ended up noticing was that it had a non-gravitational acceleration, excess push, right? In this excess push is what it made us really start thinking, okay, this thing is weird. So people are like, okay, if it's not an asteroid, it's a comet. One thing one thing everybody knows about comets is the stream. It's when it's moving, when the ice is burnt by the sun or whatever light rays, it sublimates and it turns right into gas, and then it's propelled by the stream, right? There was no stream. There was no comet stream. So we found that there's this object, okay, 400 meters long.
Why?
It's not an asteroid.
No.
There's no comet stream. There's non-gravitational acceleration. What is this object?
So I'm thinking it could be one of two things.
Sure.
Either some force of reality that we haven't yet to be able to measure, like something like gravity, but not like gravity since we don't know what it is.
Right.
Or some alien entity that sent it here. Absolutely.
And that second sentiment that you were talking about is what Avi Loeb, the Harvard theoretical physicist, basically put forth. So I have to characterize this even more before we go on. So another characteristic about Oumuamua is that its brightness changed by a factor of 10 every so often, and that it spun on its axis once every 7.3 hours. So it started just, acting pretty weird, unlike any other entity that we've already measured in in space so far in our own solar system. So the only way we could have accounted for this light, this excess light, was, okay, Avi Loeb thought maybe it's being propelled by light sail technology. I'm not sure if you are familiar with light sail technology, but it's basically, think of it this way. You have a spaceship, but instead of using rocket fuel, you use light, and the light basically pushes it. So the reflective light pushes and accelerates the object forth.
Light coming from the sun?
Yeah, coming from the sun. Right. Many people have theorized this. Right. So, and yeah, it's very efficient because you don't have to use rocket fuel. Right. So,
expensive.
The fact that we thought about this light sail technology, we related it to the non-gravitational acceleration. So this excess push must be from light sail technology. And there's so much more about Oumuamua, but I'm really trying to get it into 3 minutes of explanation. Anyway, it's just absolutely crazy what we have seen. The last thing we have seen that using, I guess, some type of mathematical analyzation, we've seen that this artifact or this body has been traveling for hundreds of millions of years. You've seen that it's been traveling for hundreds of millions of years. It's outside of our solar system. So all of these factors factor in that this thing looks to be alien tech. It looks to be alien
hundreds
tech.
of millions of years, and it just happens to land in our atmosphere.
Our solar system.
Well, yeah. So it's just. I'm not exactly sure how close it was, but it was within our observable range, and it was inside our solar system.
Right.
So.
But the crazy part is, our solar system is just a blip in the time period of whatever this thing is.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
we're a blip amongst the range of the entire universe, and I'm gonna get that.
Correct.
I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. And yes, exactly. About if this thing was traveling for 100 millions of years, well, we only thought about alien species coming for way less than hundreds of millions of years.
Right. So it supersedes the history of humankind.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I mean, I said this in episodes before. When we talk about finding aliens, if we go out and find them, it is more than likely that we are more advanced than them. If some other alien civilization reaches us,
That's not good.
the likelihood is that they are way more advanced than we are.
Yeah.
And it brings me to wonder, why haven't they spoken to us? Well, this is where conspiracy theory comes in, and you've heard a lot about. I think I heard the other day President Trump was about to put out that we have seen extraterrestrial life. People have been coming forth and saying that we have talked to extraterrestrial life. An Israeli politician or something, I forgot what he does, but he said that there's a galactic empire and they have a conference in underground Mars. I'm not so sure about that. That's kind of see that's what makes me go away from this sort of thing, because why would there be a galactic empire? Why would they be meeting in Mars of all planets? For one, Mars is, if you're gonna meet anywhere, meet on Earth. Earth is the Goldilocks zone. It's good here. On Mars, it's very arid and nasty, and I don't know why they would meet there. Anyway, I've been a skeptic for a long time, but I am starting to truly believe that we have come in contact. I believe it's likely that Omuamua is extra or alien tech, just because of its weirdness, and I do believe that we may have come in contact with aliens before, and I believe it's certainly plausible now. At first, I just completely ruled it out, but that's when I have more faith in the government and like the powers that be that govern us.
That's mistake number one.
Right. And also it came from fear, because I like to believe that I have access to all the knowledge and I just have to go out and get it. But for things to be held away from me, I don't necessarily like that. But then I thought about, well, if they just told us, okay, we have found alien life, what would happen? So before I say what I think would happen, what do you guys think would happen if the governments just came out and said, okay, we have come in contact with alien life?
That would definitely incite a mass panic, because
It's the unknown.
The purpose of conspiracy theories is to, try to get knowledge on what you don't understand,
right.
And throw it out like some far out suggestions of what reality could actually be. But if we do know reality, then, and a reality that's like been speculated on for hundreds of years and has finally come out to light, nobody's gonna take that like just lying down. I feel like everybody's gonna be scared, and they're gonna throw out more outlandish theories that would possibly just hurt us in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't know if humans ready for that.
What about you, John? What do you think?
Hey, man. Trump has one more day in office. There's a lot of things that he could
Declassify.
and a lot of things that the American government is probably hiding from the people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's being held from us, if not even making a strong decision for either or. But if there is extraterrestrial life, alien life, whatever you want to call it, I think it is being held from us for the greater good, for
Right.
public safety. just because just the public perception behind aliens is we have like movies on alien war, stuff like that. It's just scary because what if they are more advanced than us? What if they do want not even world, universal solar system domination, however grand the scope of it.
Right.
And if their logic is anywhere near comparable to humans, then they would like to dominate.
Right.
You know, because I know if we find any alien planet or species, we'll be after their tech to sustain ourselves. So,
You think
Absolutely.
aliens have imperialistic
possibly
beliefs?
I think it's just as likely that they have imperialistic tendencies
I
that
don't
they
see
do
why
not.
Or perhaps they're more advanced because they do not.
Right, because they
Right.
don't need it. Now, just gosh, my mind is racing right now because there's so many angles to this. But one thing you guys did not bring up is the religious aspect.
Right.
Um,
That was going to be something I was going to touch on.
Okay.
Is that, God created the heavens and the earth.
right.
You can talk about no aliens. For the Bible, there is no mention of extraterrestrial life other than angels, but you wouldn't consider an alien an angel.
Right.
Those are
Right.
two different things. Angels are human-like. They take in the form of humans or animals.
Perhaps these other civilizations have Bibles of their own.
Right. And here's the thing.
Right.
So, before we go into the likelihood of a deity, but for people that aren't as malleable in their religion as others, an appearance of an alien species, wouldn't that cause mass hysteria? Wouldn't people start going crazy just because
It would cast some doubt on the
Right.
faith you believe in, whether
Cast
it be
a lot of doubt.
a lot of doubt? And wouldn't a lot of people just not be able to live with that and do crazy things? Do you believe so?
I'm sure a lot of like extremists.
Yeah.
I don't want to say
Yeah.
extremists
So
like.
what if the aliens
in
have the
terms
same
of-
God as us?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so when you talk about Christianity and Christ, dying for people's sins, wouldn't there have to be infinite Christs among, or not infinite, but a high number of Christs among many different species, amongst many different star systems?
So
I'm saying-
there
Well,
could
we
be
know-
like an alternate.
To relate it to the Bible, we do know that God appears in various forms.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
perhaps these various forms come across various species.
Right, so I believe
various
that
realities.
it's certainly likely if God manifests himself in our realm that he would be able to, I guess, place himself across the entire cosmos.
Correct, 'cause-
I believe that. But that just, I don't know. A lot of people don't think that analytically, that mathematically, and like I said, a lot of people aren't as malleable. So I don't know. Like, just whenever something shocking happens, like even the George Floyd thing that like you said, extremists come out. I feel like a lot of people will even take this as an excuse to just raise hell.
Excuse
me.
It all comes down to how strong your faith is.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. If something as shocking as alien life comes out, I think you'd have some pretty strong faith
Mm-hmm.
to have to not be shocked by that.
Uh-huh.
But there could be some way where alien life outside of Earth, does connect back into the Christian God or whatever God someone may believe in.
It does make sense
And-
because
There would have to be some type of salvation
Mhm.
for the alien species, whatever life form there is, because Christians do believe in the universal salvation. They do believe that anyone is worthy of forgiveness and able to be saved and go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So,
And as far away as these aliens might be outside our galaxy, outside our Milky Way, it's still in the same reality. So
Right.
it would be plausible. But if we go into alternate realities, then
Well,
maybe
yeah,
it's kind of iffy.
and I mean, I've brought up many worlds plenty of times, but and I always try to relate everything back to the infinite universes. But I've been a believer in the likelihood of aliens for a long time now. And one thing, and Neil deGrasse Tyson says this is the thought that keeps him up at night, and I've brought this up on the podcast before, but the fact that our entire reality is a neural projection, that scares me in regard to aliens, because we have our five senses, but I start to think, what if these alien species have either more senses or more advanced senses than ours? Now,
we wouldn't be able to process their senses because we don't have the capability
absolutely
beyond our five senses.
Absolutely. But they would basically, if they have something beyond our five senses, they would be able to manipulate us in a way that we possibly could be moving in their, we could be moving through their actions right now.
Yeah.
We could be just freaking two babies right now believing that we're in reality. At the same time, they're just simulating our reality. So they could right now be manipulating us. The possibilities are infinite. But I always related to this. We see the world in a certain frames per second. We hear in at a certain speed. If they're able to perceive the world in, like, I guess 2 times our frames per second, they would be like, okay, why are these monkeys moving so slow? It's certain things like that.
It's kind of racist.
It's certain things like that it's a little fearful. And, you know, as humans, most of us like to believe that we dominate the universe. I mean, why
it's our natural sense of superiority.
Absolutely. I don't know. So that's a little weird. But I also know about the exponential progression of our technology, and I know the possible technologies that we have. We already talked about cybernetics and Neuralink, and we've talked about CRISPR on this podcast. I do believe that we can elevate our senses to even greater heights, and Emery and maybe John may say, Emery has already said that takes us away from being human. But, I mean, I don't know. If we do start having more interactions with alien species, in order to survive as a race, we might have to elevate ourselves.
I pose this question to you. Do you think technology as we know it in regards to humans will ever have a peak?
No. Yes and no. I see that peak way beyond our imagination right now. I bring up the Kardashev scale a lot. So right now, the Kardashev scale basically scales from type 0 civilization to type 7 civilization. A type 0 civilization is more like basically cavemen. They don't really have any power. A type 1 civilization can use the power of its entire planet. Michio Kaku believes by 2100 we'll reach a type 1 civilization. Right now, Carl Sagan once said that we're at a type 0.7 civilization. So in taking control of your entire planet, you basically can control the weather, which that would affect a lot of people's religion too. And you would have full function of hydropower, even fossil fuels, wind power, all of that. So you take full control of your planet. A type 2 civilization, you take full control of your star system. So we would build Dyson spheres, which I brought this up on another podcast, but it's a contraption built around the sun, which we basically extract the sun's power. But we can use the entire, and then a type 3 civilization, I'm pretty sure type 2 civilization is it's our star system. So we use our whole solar system. So we go to other planets and we use their power as well. Type 3 civilization is our galaxy, and this is where it used to stop. And then a type 4 civilization is our universe. Then a type 5 civilization, we take control of the entire multiverse. I talk about the infinite universe theory, the many worlds interpretation in episode 10. But taking control of the multiverse, we'd basically be able to control the infinite realities that may pervade our universe. I talked about the whole the proposing scenario. When I said that when you get down on one knee, the lady is now in a superposition of saying yes and no, right? A type 5 civilization would basically be able to take control of that those infinite possibilities. So, just to answer your question, a type 1 civilization seems crazy to us. The fact that you can even manipulate weather, that you can control weather, that just seems crazy to us in that regard. So, if there's an end to technology, and maybe it goes within string theory, and we get to being able to manipulate 10 dimensions, it will get to a point where it's so beyond our perception now that we wouldn't even be able to see an end. So I honestly don't know, but I believe within our mental abilities right now, technology is endless. But yeah,
I
Go ahead.
think back to the neural chip thing. You know, we weren't always humans from a scientific aspect before we were Homo sapiens.
right.
And I think, like you said before, unlocking these different parts of your brains and possibly doing that would not like improve humans. It would evolve them, so we wouldn't be humans anymore per se. We would be something beyond.
Okay. Yeah. So more than human, basically.
The next stage of evolution.
Yeah,
possibly relies on technology.
And you know what? I agree. Because a lot of people say these technologies make us less human. And that's, when we were talking on episode 5, that's kind of the vibe I got from you a little bit. But a lot of people say that these, I guess, progression in technologies, especially like BCIs and stuff like that, would make us less human. But I just believe it's more of an evolved state.
Right. It just depends on your definition of what human is.
Exactly. That's the name of our episode. Of episode 5? What is humanity? And it's crazy that we got here just from a flying. What could this Omuamua thing? It could just be a flying rock that we got weird data. Right. It's crazy that we've gotten here from this point. It's very special, man. Very special stuff.
Inspirational.
But yeah, and just one more thing, I forgot I have this in the notes, but another thing that basically to Avi Loeb that proved that this was artificial, in 2020 we saw that there was something else that had the non-gravitational acceleration, and we labeled it 2020 SO because we found it in September 2020. But we were like, okay, what is this other object? We were like, okay, are these alien things like really coming at us? But then we used mathematics to saw that it came from Earth, and that in 1996 somebody released a light sail technology. But we saw that it was truly artificial. But this was the same type of non-gravitational acceleration that the Oumuamua used. So if that one's artificial, then Oumuamua must be artificial.
Yeah.
And if we know that it wasn't made by us. So that basically just proved that this was alien tech. But to go on, I also think maybe we can learn from alien tech. Maybe we can learn certain things from alien tech. I mean, I already said multiple times I want to be a multiplanetary species. In becoming a multiplanetary species, it's likely that we interact with other aliens. We had a debate on one episode. I forgot what episode it was. We had a debate, and we said,
I think it was episode 3.
You don't even know.
He doesn't even know. But I want to bring this to you, John.
What's up?
Me and Emery both talked about this. So, say we meet an alien species, and you have to bring 3 types of people with you. Or no, you can be you're yourself, and 2 other people tag along with you. What type of people do you bring along, basically, to interact with this alien species? So, some answers have been like, I'd bring an engineer with me, like, because you're in a foreign land. So some say I'd bring an engineer, some say a linguist, a cryptographer, mathematicians, stuff like that. So what do you think? Who would be like the most primed people, including yourself, to interact with this other species of intelligible life
and not get killed.
Intelligent
Yeah,
life.
I got y'all. Okay, so you said 3 people. Does that mean like 3 including myself?
Yeah. So okay, because the way me and Emery did it.
So would it be 2 people or?
Yeah, 3 people, including yourself, 2 other people. Because me and Emery basically we just used ourselves, but who we thought ourselves to be in the future. So whatever you view yourself as in the future, I saw myself as a physicist. So
I view myself as I want to major in political science, so I could be the diplomat. That could interact with this foreign species.
Okay, cool.
I'll definitely want a mathematician because math can be the universal language when a language barrier does come across us. And for the other spot, I'm not really sure, because with a linguist, if it's an alien, their whole perception of language would be different from us.
Okay.
And a linguist just wouldn't. I don't think they would be of too much help because what they know about other languages come from people that speak the other languages.
Right.
But whether there's some type of translator, there's going to be some translation.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be that translation with aliens.
Yeah. Maybe you should bring a bodyguard.
No. I'm trying to think.
Bruce Lee.
An engineer. I'll bring a scientist actually. Screw the engineer.
Uh-huh.
A scientist.
What type of
scientist? I guess I would have to say a physicist. Okay. Just to have somebody that could just gain new information about whatever we come across and just learn as they go about the new reality that we're experiencing.
Nice.
And then for a honorary mention, I'd have to bring a free code just because
Yo.
the aliens gotta experience what we're experiencing, bro. We gotta compare, cause aliens gotta procreate too, and I'm willing to bet that they enjoy procreation and they've made a monopoly off of procreation as much as humans do.
Talk to the camera, man.
Because sex sells. I'm telling y'all, sex has been in business for a while. Sex and food, those two businesses have been around since start of civilization. You could track prostitution. There have been gods of fertility for as long as we could think. So,
yeah, I mean that's a good point. That's honestly a good point. And I don't know. Should I bleep out freak or should I just leave it in?
I think you should just leave freak.
Yeah.
I think they'll be able to get the gist.
I'll do some slick editing there.
Or freak and like edit a farming tool on it.
I remember Emery saying he would bring Dr. Doolittle.
Did I say that?
Something like,
I
who's
did.
the guy that
like the dude that
Dr.
speak to
Doolittle,
animals.
Yeah, and I never watched Dr. Doolittle, so I remember I got flamed for that. I just thought that was funny. But
It was. I read the books because it was like a set. They came with like Thomas Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn,
Yeah.
and Dr. Doolittle was one of
yeah,
them.
man.
They also had Moby Dick on there. I remember.
That's not funny.
I remember. And Gulliver's Travels. That was good.
Oh! I saw the movie in like 2008 with Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Yes.
Jack Black.
Very good actor.
I like him. Kung Fu Panda, great movie.
Bro.
All right. Well, we've been talking about this amazing alien topic for a while now. So I wanted to bring in a little.
Hey, before we end,
yeah, go ahead.
Amber, you think you can make a good alien noise?
Oh shoot. Okay.
Of course I can, but can you?
I
I mean,
asked
you're
you-
the guest. You only get one shot at the show. What you
I
got,
asked
bud?
you first. I made the positive claim. I'll
Okay.
do it after you.
Go ahead.
I don't feel like it.
Emery usually makes the noises on the podcast.
I don't feel like it today. I really don't.
You don't?
John, you can pick up for me.
I think it would be more high pitched, like like that.
Yo.
I think it was like,
It's likely that they don't even use a cacophonous emission to communicate.
they could, like that.
Yeah, they might not even use any noise. They could just communicate. It's possible they communicate through telepathy.
Hey, cut
Yeah.
that bull crap out. Don't keep
No,
that
we're
in.
not. We're not cutting
Hey,
it.
cut that out.
All right. We got to move on. So, this episode is definitely going to be very science based because I want to do a quick lightning round of science topics for me because a lot of other things in the science world have happened. So, first thing off, a team of scientists. I don't even know how to pronounce the university's name, but in Berlin have basically used artificial intelligence to calculate the ground state of electrons using the Schrodinger's equation. So AI has solved the Schrodinger's equation, which is absolutely crazy. Makes me fear for my job in the future, honestly, even though I'll use AI and physics, so I'm a little good there. But for pure physics, this is, before I explain what it is, it's basically shown that the days of Einstein sitting down with a piece of paper in front of you and looking up at the stars are basically over, which is kind of sad for me because, that kind of sounds cool. But anyway, this is another deep learning method, and basically it's used AI to find a new way of representing the wave function, which I brought up in episode 10, because remember I talked about Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You can't know the exact state of anything. You can't know the exact position and velocity of anything, right? Due to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. There's always some uncertainty principle. There's always some sort of uncertainty. In this, we found that basically reality functions through waves. This wave function gives a general area of where things exist.
Wait, hold on,
so,
hold on. I feel like we've been having a bunch of scientific breakthroughs like recently over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
But when are they going to start being applied to society?
Well,
when
the thing is about waves is you have to realize that waves don't die.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, so this can actually be directly attributed to human society, and you know what? I'm willing to say all of these scientific breakthroughs that we had, because I talked about DeepMind before in solving protein folding. That's going to be great for medicines in the future. We talked about CRISPR that will basically eliminate all disease possibly. If your parents get Alzheimer's in the future, you can use CRISPR to get rid of their Alzheimer's. Things like that. Neuralink also apply to human society. So it's just not exactly done yet, but it's more in theory. Anyway, the significance of this thing, it's called POP. Oh gosh. I can't pronounce things. The Pauli net. It's called because the Pauli exclusion principle basically says that two electrons can't exist in the same state within an atom. But using the electron's behavior, the AI basically solved the wave function. It solved the equation. So now we know we're starting to get a better understanding of how electrons move around the nuclei. In this, we've basically have not solved it, but we're solving quantum chemistry, which is a new thing coming. Because what I've seen lately is that everything going on is quantum. This is why I'm going into quantum physics, is that a lot of the newest technologies are more so quantum. And now, within quantum chemistry, we'll be able to predict the chemical and physical properties of molecules. In this, we'll be able to create new medicines, and we'll be able to analyze disease, and this will also go towards cancer. So, and we're lightning round, so I'm not going to get too into that. But also, like I said before, this truly also attributes itself to the future of theoretical physics, the days of sitting in front of a piece of paper and just working out the math with a pencil and paper are almost over. We're going to be using the AI, which I think is also very cool because it's like I see AI more friendly than most. I see it more as a companion, and I do see in the future those turning into conscious beings. So the next thing, which will be also cooler for you guys, researchers in South Korea have created artificial skin. And with this artificial skin, they've created an invisibility cloak. How cool. Harry Potter like. How cool is that? So basically, this tech uses micro cameras to see its environment, and it's basically concocted an invisibility cloak.
Camouflage?
Yeah, camouflage.
Camouflage.
And
So wait, is it like it's in the skin, or is it like an outer layer?
yeah, it's an outer layer.
Right.
So we call this quantum stealth because the cameras are quantum, and it's just really small. And what it's able to, the quantum properties are also able to bend light. So it looks. I forgot to. I probably should put up a picture right here. I might, but it's just cool how like, dude, invisible cloaks. Those were things science fiction. And also the crazy thing is, so okay, you have an invisibility.
Non-fiction.
Right. You have an invisibility cloak, whatever. I'll just detect your heat, right?
Right.
No, this thing is invisible to regular and infrared cameras. So you can't even detect the heat. Now that's crazy.
No, that's dangerous.
That's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
They got to use that
But
in
the
wars.
thing is, when you do think about the invisibility cloak, when the invisibility cloak does come around, it does have to come with the rest of the two Deathly Hollows. So the Elder One, Resurrection Stone.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
If y'all think
The invisibility cloak was some
foreign object that was just
never going to be available in a non-fiction world, the Elder Wand is coming, man.
Yeah. So if you're not sure what he's talking about, then watch Harry Potter.
And
or
the
Best
guys-
movie series around.
If you guys
No
haven't noticed,
cap.
John's the joke guy.
Oh yeah, no, John.
He
is
got it
definitely-
on him.
He's definitely our class clown.
Uh-huh.
But he has a brain on him too. But yeah, that's
And a big bank.
wow. Okay.
Well, you could like edit my audio out on that thing, right? Because I moaned when you were talking and y'all didn't react.
Bro, I didn't even notice.
Because
Okay.
I looked at Amber because I thought he was gonna laugh because I said I was gonna do it beforehand.
I didn't hear you.
And he just didn't react. I was like, damn, it wasn't loud enough. I got up in the mic too.
Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, you're into politics. What does an invisibility cloak make you think about the future of war?
Shit, espionage, man. not even espionage, like just not even war. It's just like, how do you account for that with crimes? It's just, it's hard to prove someone has an invisibility cloak. You would have to.
If we have a terrorist that gets a hold of one of these
South Korean cloaks,
which will, I'm sure, soon be every country's cloaks. We're gonna have
dangerous,
dystopian,
man.
Post-apocalyptic world.
Well, it depends on how easy the cloak is to get a hold of. If it's hard,
it's never gonna be easy to get a hold of, but people will find their ways of short.
You know what?
Sure.
Let's open this topic before we get into any other topics. Let's talk about the future of war, because we brought this up in episode 2, I believe, or episode 1. I had a fear. I was like, does every scientific breakthrough have to come with a malicious intent?
Yes.
I talked about E = mc squared. That led to the hydrogen bomb.
Right.
So things such as that.
Intent, just because something doesn't have a malicious intent doesn't mean it can't be used in malicious purposes.
Okay.
There's no way Einstein thought that.
No, you're right.
Yeah, so intent probably wouldn't be the best word.
Yeah, no, okay, so.
Maybe like consequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you just gotta think anything nice in this world could be used in a harmful way.
Right.
If I get a Twinkie at the gas station and shove it down John's throat, he's gonna die. It don't matter if it's a Twinkie or not.
Wow, that's
it don't
funny.
matter if it's a Twinkie or
bro.
not.
So
these not extreme, but these
I feel like that's an
an
oversimplification of what's going on, though. There's a difference between a gas station Twinkie.
I'm just showing you the extent of which something can be used.
Absolutely. I agree with both of you guys. And so here are the things that I've heard of recently. Using CRISPR, we may be able to manufacture, we could basically alter the stomachs of soldiers and them being able to eat grass.
Well, you have to realize there's a Geneva Convention and whatnot. There are some limitations to war. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't, and I don't think we ever will have an all-out war.
Yeah, I mean.
So, I think those things will be dealt with accordingly. And there are probably plenty of things in the past that they thought could have had malicious and just like harmful side effects when it comes to the aspect of war. Because war is a pretty common thing with humans. It's just conflict.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're continuously constructing these things today. I remember North Korea basically showing off their great missile or whatever it was. They have like a military day.
Yeah, it landed like
I feel
10
like
miles in the Pacific.
These
these
political international agreements will only hold out if we're progressing technologically wise at like a similar rate.
And
because if one country becomes too powerful, why wouldn't they want to spread their power and conquer?
And the thing is, we're being infiltrated already, and you don't have to. The war doesn't have to be a physical war.
Correct.
We're getting to the point where, you know what, war probably won't be that way because, we're using the internet to war on people. We know that our political climate, especially in America, has been tampered by other parties.
Foreign entities.
Exactly. And the fact that so many people's political views have been warped by the algorithm. We talked about the social dilemma in episode 3. Mm-hmm. The fact that so many people's political views have been warped just based off of the algorithm. The fact that everything they consume is being supported by this one idea. It's creating radical people. And what the algorithm has done, we're starting to near the obstruction of objective truth.
Yeah.
Which that's crazy too.
The people that will win the wars are the ones who master the mental manipulation.
That too. And Putin said the person who masters AI will take over the entire world. So, or the country that masters it.
And it's going to be one of those things where the international superpowers are going to be the ones that have access to these things, whatever it may be. Bulgaria is not going to.
Right.
It's going to be China, Russia, maybe Japan or one of the Koreas, the United States, and Britain.
Right.
So it's going to be a competition, and it always is a competition with those countries, especially China. You'll see in the news there's a lot of talk about like what politicians are compromised or whatnot, because that is a big deal, because China is our number one competitor,
Right.
I would say. So it's just a lot to think about.
Yeah. How long are these countries gonna be around though? Because as far as history tells
democracy, with democracy, America is the longest standing democracy.
It is.
Yeah.
Republic, whatever you want to call it. And you may think, just the way things are going now, is our time coming? Is there going to be an end of the America?
I don't think it's anytime soon, but history does tell us that not empire, but superpower will fall at some point.
Well, I always relate things back to globalization, and I don't know. I think when the whole country's system ends, I believe it comes at a time where it's an outer Earth experience. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I said this in episode 8 or whatever episode we did with Cappity Cap, Casey. I said the most unifying thing would be finding an alien species, right? Because once that happens, then all of these races basically wither away. We are the human race.
Yes, it becomes a enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing.
Exactly.
And we're going to have to unify as humans, because if we're fighting against an extraterrestrial object with the United States, but not with the help of Russia or China, we're not going to stand a chance.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to unify for the time being.
We need everybody.
This is the perfect gateway into what my topic was going to be.
All right, go ahead.
Episode 5, the topic was what is humanity?
Okay.
And I want to go into this episode. What is the purpose of humanity?
Okay, kick it off.
And everybody's purpose has their own whatever they want to do, whatever their life is made for. But humanity's purpose as a whole, I believe, is to be unified. So I question you guys. Other than alien species possibly showing up and creating a mutual enemy for us, do you think that one day we could have one country?
No.
Around the world?
No.
Just on Earth?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. There's too many differences. Even just in the 50 states of America, there's too many differences with the culture and whatnot. There's no way that China and Russia and the Bahamas, and they're not going to be able to agree on one single subject. And there's going to be too much division.
I actually disagree.
All right, you go ahead.
I disagree from a scientific point of view. With the advent of brain-computer interfaces and Neuralink things as such, I believe our mental capabilities will be elevated to a point in which we will sort of basically separate ourselves from the certain frivolous things that pervade our interactions right now.
Well, how soon are we talking, Henry?
Well, I think this is just. I think this is open to anything.
In the grand scheme of how long
humanity,
not just humanity, but formed societies have been, like, I'd say in the next 300, 400 years.
Okay, yeah, sure. And I'll be alive to see it, but so.
Which I live forever.
Well, even things like one of the biggest barriers is the language barrier, right? I can't speak to somebody in Japan right now.
But I feel like that's being overcome as we speak.
That's what I'm saying. It's being overcome. You can see this is beautifully characterized in a video game called Cyberpunk 2077. But once we sort of start infusing our brains with computer power, we will be able. Somebody will speak to me in another language,
and you'll hear it in your own language.
I'll hear it in my own language, or I can even just see it as captions below. Things such as that. Once we start moving more towards finding a theory of everything, whether it's string theory, whether it's simulation theory, whether it's something else, as our intellect rises, we sort of get away from other things that underlie.
I think it would possibly, or maybe be possible, whenever, like, I don't want to use the term third world countries, but these countries that aren't as technologically advanced and still have social like dilemmas that they deal with.
Right.
Once they get to a stage where people aren't being segregated against by their own governments frequently.
It's crazy that women can't drive in Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. Actually,
there's still slavery in Liberia.
Yeah.
I feel like once these countries overcome their individual issues, perhaps, because
I feel like can we bank on them overcoming these difficulties?
Maybe not, but the reason of these difficulties is because of the hierarchical nature of humanity.
Correct.
We come from animals, and it feels good to be above somebody else to some people. So getting away from that, you need to start leveling out the playing field. What Elon Musk is doing is Starlink, which a lot of people don't like it because they say it's destroying the ozone layer. I believe that they'll be able to fix that at some point. I didn't really go too far into that because I trust Elon. But it's basically going to make Wi-Fi cheap, super cheap, and Wi-Fi available to everyone around the world. Once people have access to the internet in some of these countries, and their government does block sites, but once they have access to more knowledge, we know that knowledge is power. So uprisings will start to happen, and they'll start getting help from countries like America to wipe out these regimes that take power over others.
Go ahead.
I use the word country just to describe land where people live, but in reality, that's just what it is, because some of these countries where people live, they aren't really members of that society.
Yeah, true.
They're being controlled by their government. They're being manipulated. So this is just where they reside. So that's where their citizenship classifies them as. And, these people, I feel like they need more opportunities, and unification of countries would really assist in doing that.
No, absolutely. I agree. Go ahead, John.
Well, first thing, I would be very, very careful with this unwavering trust in someone with as much money and as much power as Elon Musk. I do feel as if the billionaires of the world, they do try to get, or the media tries to portray them in an angelic symbol and give them a better image than what they really have.
I agree.
I do feel like there's a fetishization almost of the uber wealthy. They don't have the interests of the common man in mind. I can't get behind trusting someone with as much power.
Because that power comes at a cost, and it's not just money.
And part two, is it even in the best interest of these countries to have America intervene? Because the past has shown us America doesn't intervene unless there's something in it for them, whether it be natural resources, if they want to put a proxy leader in place, as we've seen in some third world countries such as Venezuela, whatnot, Colombia, Cuba with the missile crisis way back when. Is it even best for a country like America to intervene in another country's problems?
It all comes down to their leadership, because I believe if all the superpowers of the world at some point in time have more leaders that are more willing to change and accepting of other cultures,
well, I think the past leaders we've had have screwed it up for us. If you look in the Middle East with the Reagan administration and whatnot, the people in the Middle East, the Iraqis or whatnot, we invaded them illegally. We had ill intentions, malicious intentions. And they remember that, and they're not going to trust America. I feel like Americans feel like they do have this savior complex as a country, but a lot of times these people in these other countries, they've seen what past presidents have done, whether it be Vietnam or Korea or Iraq or Iran, whatever. They've seen America intervene to push a certain certain agenda that the American government has at the time, and masquerade it as helping the people.
And it's a tale as old as time, because why have all the major empires fallen? The Roman Empire, all these other great.
I don't think that America, as it is today, will have the same problem as these empires, just because of the way the founding fathers did create it as a constitutional republic. They didn't even want the federal government to have that much power. The founding fathers constructed the country with the thought of the previous empires in mind. Now, whether it can last if it could last the stand of time, we don't know, because the Constitution is 200, however old it is. It's old as hell, and you do have to wonder, how can the Constitution govern over us when the Constitution could not have thought that we would have cars, computers, cell phones.
Right.
James Madison did not have that in mind.
I'm still managing.
So that's a whole different subject with the certain ideologies that these Supreme Court justices have, with the more conservative justices such as Clarence Thomas and Amy Coney Barrett and the late Antonin Scalia. Is what do we interpret the Constitution with its original text, or do we have the more liberal point of view where with judicial review or judicial activism? And so it's honestly, will America last? It's just super weird to think of like how we can unify as a entire world, when obviously, as we've seen with recent time with the Donald Trump presidency, we can't even unify as 50 states
I agree.
that all live on one piece of land, one continent.
I agree. And I've been brewing for a little bit, because both of you guys have said a lot of things. And I will relate it back to Emery's original question. He says, what is the purpose of humanity? What I see the purpose of humanity as is realizing our creation. Everything that we have ever gone into, what pervades our universe now, goes back to religion, and it goes back to science. Why was science created? We make sense of the physical phenomena that happens to us today, yes, but we also use cosmology and things such as the Big Bang to basically rationalize why we are here today. This goes into determinism and string theory, many worlds interpretation, quantum mechanics. There's so many things that highlight us. And then we have religion, which God created the heaven and earth, all of this stuff, right? So I see humanity's purpose from its beginning. Once we became intelligent beings, we have basically been trying to find our creation. In that, in trying to find our creation, we have came up with these amazing sciences and these amazing technologies, and we've developed these amazing minds, and we've basically created a sub-purpose of elevating human society and elevating our functions. In this elevation, I believe we continue to elevate our mental state. And all of these things that you were talking about, such as the fetishization. Oh gosh, that's a tongue twister. Fetishization of the wealthy. And you guys talk about the interactions between countries. Call me crazy, but I see all of these things as minuscule. I honestly see them all as minuscule, just because I understand that John said this in the very beginning, and I liked what he said, but he called us a blip. And I always relate everything back to the all-out expansiveness of our universe. And within this universe, there is so vast in the possibilities of there being other species out there. And all of these things are sort of minuscule. I see the biggest topics that should govern us today. It is finding our creation, where we come from, and our sub-purpose of elevating humanity to newer heights and becoming a multiplanetary species and spreading out and becoming more everlasting, not dying off. Because what most animals try to do is not die, right? They make babies. They try to propagate their own species, right? So I also see that. And then, yes, in that, I see us as becoming more unified. The whole reason we are trying to become unified, because why do we want there to be unity? Yes, we want everybody to have equal footing, and we want everybody to be happy,
because
right?
The best strength is found in unity. When everybody puts their minds together, we can elevate to unthought of heights.
Exactly.
But
unity. Go ahead.
What is the realistic chance of the whole world unifying? I feel like it's
right,
a pipe dream.
And that's what I was about to get to. The power that We are trying to get to newer heights, but there is gravity. There is gravity that is a resistive force to us getting to this height. This gravity is human frailty. This human frailty, all of the things that you guys have been saying is rooted in human frailty. The fact that we want to put ourselves above others. The fact that you said that America has this savior complex and intervening in other countries. All of these things, people putting other people down, women not being able to drive, slavery in Liberia, like you said. All of this comes from human frailty, I believe. So I believe it is science and technology that will take us to a new mental state that will elevate us above this gravity. But it isn't just that. I said in episode 8, I believe, that science isn't a language that everybody wants or can understand, but hope is a language that everybody can understand. So I believe it's a fusion of science and I don't even know what to describe it as, but human interaction, like humanities, things such as that. I believe it's a fusion of those two things that will take us to a newer height. But yes, it is unlikely. It is certainly unlikely. But we have seen from the very beginning of this episode that the unlikely things are what is amazing in our life. Oumuamua, absolutely unlikely. The fact that something outside of our solar system could resist its own star system's gravity and get here and then escape our solar system is absolutely crazy. We saw that Oumuamua was basically parked. It was resisting all gravity. So it is the unlikely things that, eventually happen. I don't know how to tie this together, but
I do.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
I'd
Shorty.
say
Go ahead, Shorty.
all right, Brad. I'd say with everything that we've discussed so far, the purpose of humanity is to exist.
Okay.
Because once humans realize that all of our surroundings, all of our feelings, all of the politics, all of our relations with each other are just existence in itself, we can go beyond.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Go ahead.
Because a person who, no disrespect to them, has no real purpose in their life, who has no real goal, they're existing. I feel like life is more than just existing, finding out why we exist, just examining the world around us. Socrates said, an unexamined life is a life not worth living. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can exist without truly living.
No, because living comes with existence. I'm not saying existence as in we're just here, existing by being a part of your world, being able to learn new things, being able to harness everything that comes with life is existing. That's not just living.
Well, I feel like it's semantics at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But we're all saying nearly the same thing. We are all nearly saying the same thing, and this is a great conversation to have. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I think about us reaching the future technological paradigm that is so special, and us basically having superpowers, and us traveling to other planets, it seems amazing. But then you bring up all these political things that sort of is the gravity, the human frailty that holds us back. Because in order to get to these places, we truly do need unification. And onto the fetishization of the wealthy thing. When I do talk about Elon, the only reason I put him on this pedestal, and the only reason others put these people on this pedestal, is because there is an inherent defined bar of success that has been created. Forbes list has been defined as successful in many people's hearts. In this, people are inspired to get to this sort of place. I don't necessarily... I've detached from the bar of success by other people. At least I'm trying to detach from this. But what I do see as Elon Musk with Tesla and the possibility of Neuralink, I see the law of affection. The law of affection is affecting as many people as you can. This is my purpose in life. My purpose in life is to be one of the people who usher humanity to this future technological paradigm, and it's to serve the world. That is what I view as my purpose and destiny. That's why I say I trust in Elon, that does come from the fact that he inspires me to do great things.
And the things you've seen him accomplish, you have faith that he'll continue to do these things and provide for you.
Absolutely. But in human frailty, we have seen that to get to these points and amass all of this money, people have done some pretty underhanded things. And that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we want the light to outweigh the darkness.
Is it possible, do you think, for people to attain that sort of power, in a sense, without...
No, because I really do just think it all comes down to what Young Nudie said. Ooh wee, look what that money make a bit do. So...
I gotta pee. I'm not trying to laugh too hard.
You've been plotting on that joke, bro. You've been plotting on that joke.
I gotta piss too, bro.
Bro, oh my gosh. All
right.
Funny. But go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Hold on, I gotta remember because that screwed me up. I would just really recommend being wary about putting another human like you on a pedestal, and just
no.
I'm talking about Caleb.
Yeah.
Just in general. I mean, obviously you could do what you want, but I don't know too much about Elon Musk. I don't know as much of him as you do, but I really can't get behind the worshiping of somebody else.
Well, I'll tell you this: it's absolutely not worship. It's absolutely not worship. I worship few things.
Perhaps admiration or respect.
It's respect, but it's also I use it as fuel. Emery said this in episode 12. It brings you to the question: the one thing you did say about Elon, because I don't know how much you know about Elon, but you said that Elon is a direct manifestation of the question, why not me? One thing people do not know about Elon is the background he comes from, coming from South Africa.
Yeah, he could say the N-word.
Immigrating here and, going through college, super smart. And he basically, the art of a guide, I feel like I brought up guides in another episode, but the art of any person that affects the world, the art of any genius, is that it comes down to that they are artists and they paint the world with their strokes of genius, right? So it's not necessarily, it's definitely not a pedestal or worship. It's more so using it as fuel for me to get to a position where I can affect as many people as that. Because I said this in an earlier episode, if everybody affects their community, we get to this unified state this kumbaya that we like to think that we'll get to. Right. So it is truly affecting as many people as possible. That may be that's the purpose of a monk. You ask what's the purpose of humanity? The purpose of the monk mindset is service. I said this in episode 11. Service is the highest purpose in life. And as you two know, that I dive into this monk mindset very often. So it all goes down to purpose.
All right, yes. Hold on.
What?
Secret message, John.
All right, yeah. So John went to go take a leak. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up this segment of what is the purpose of humanity. Emery brought up in a really great topic, but since you did open the topic, is there any way you would like to end it?
I feel like people don't realize how beautiful the world is through all the death and the killing and the hatred and this theft, the poverty, what other ailments you could think of that affect the human race. We're still here, and the resilience that we have shown through all the loss and through all the wins as well, I think is a testimony to how great people are.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautifully said. I don't want to try to one up you in any way. I talked about this before, but John's back from his leak.
Yeah, John. Look at that. Look at John's resilience.
But yeah,
he went to go pee and he came back stronger than ever. Don't you feel rejuvenated, John?
Nah, I just gotta pressure in my bladder area.
He feels rejuvenated.
Anyway, yes. There has been pessimism and optimism amongst this topic, but yes, you truly do have to realize the beauty of humanity. I talk about the human brain. When we asked what are we thankful for in episode 10, I said the human brain, the fact that we all exist on this wavelength that is able to bridge our subjective realities together, allowing us to share connections and share conversations such as this. So yeah, man. The fact that we're able to even do this is absolutely beautiful, man.
Are we still doing a secret message?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, John is. We're at a random point in the podcast. John is going to give a secret message. Whatever he says, comment that down below.
Man, Emery got a big head.
All right, Emery got a big head.
All right, carry on.
All right, so
dome piece on him. Emery, your head big as hell.
I don't know why he's still trying to rank. Show him your socks.
Okay, you just showing us little Jesus socks on them.
You got all them holes in the socks.
Because I'm holy.
Uh-huh.
All right, so we've gone through many very lengthy topics, but they were absolutely great. But anyway, Now, as usual, we have our guest topic. So, John,
this is the fun part. I'm a politics guy. I want to major in political science at whatever college accepts me. But I ask you this, Caleb. What political party do you identify with?
Well, although I can't exactly attribute myself to a political party yet, I can say that economically I lean more conservative and socially I lean more democratic. I don't know if that helps your question now at all, but
so in the future, could you ever see yourself becoming either the typical right-wing conservative or leaning towards the more libertarian route? Because from what you just described there, you sound like a libertarian almost when it comes to social, depending on what you call social.
Explain what libertarian is to the viewers.
Libertarian is at its core, is a political theory which focuses itself on limited, like super small government. That is federal government. When you think of the idea of centralization, libertarians believe in decentralization.
Okay.
They believe in a free market economy. And they also believe in a lack of government intervention, whether it be wars overseas or whether it be domestically. They believe in lower taxes. And when it comes to social issues such as the homosexual community and recreational drugs, they are pretty liberal, not in the sense of conservative liberal, but almost in the sense that it's not the government's business. But there is a huge question on whether libertarianism can work on a wide grand scale at the level of the United States federal government.
So do you see yourself voting Republican?
With the way the Republican Party stands, if I'm being completely honest, I probably would have voted for Biden. I probably wouldn't have voted, and as much as that sounds as a discredit to my civil liberties, I do feel like as an individual, I don't owe anybody my philosophical in just anything in regards to my ideology. And there are plenty of things not to like about Biden and Trump. They're two pretty dislikable candidates. But what happened last week with the riots and the whole issue about voter fraud, I had seen this coming. I believe that Trump, he had been heating the water a little bit. He's been letting the water boil, and I feel like the pot just overflowed last week.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And for that reason, I probably would have voted for Biden or just not voted.
I see what you mean by, like, I hate the sentiment that people say that you should vote because if you don't, it's a waste of your vote.
Right, because I'm not going to vote for...
How is it a waste of my vote if I'm giving my vote to somebody that I feel doesn't deserve it?
Correct.
That's what makes it my vote.
Yeah, you've been placed in an unfortunate situation.
So
and to be complete...
The option to opt out is entirely an option.
Yeah.
I just say.
But also you have to choose between the lesser of two evils sometimes because mathematically, if you want democracy to work, you need more people to vote in order to achieve compromise.
Correct.
So if you have lesser people voting, that's less of the population deciding who's in office.
Well, there's
Don't you
also
think?
we're thinking of two major political parties like
And
Democratic,
I'm thinking about the individual. I'm not really thinking about
On a grand scale?
on a grand scale, because to be honest, I don't really give a damn what anybody says.
Okay.
Hashtag no vote November. I couldn't. It would have been a real struggle for me to pick, because I really don't feel as if Joe Biden has the interests of even just anybody in mind, especially the black community. I do feel like the Democratic Party has been the party of false promises, while the Republicans are the party of no promises. The black outreach with the Republican community has been horrible. The Republicans don't try to politic in the hood. They just can't relate.
Well,
and they don't do a good job of outreach. That's why Stacey Abrams in Georgia was able to win the state over, was because she was able to outreach. And even though she had probably a better case of election fraud than Donald J. Trump did, she continued to fight for her party. And while I don't exactly agree with her political ideas, I can get behind the fact that she continued to fight, and she didn't really sit there and complain. She went out and had outreach and got the people to vote in Georgia and flip the state blue.
Yeah. Well, you're obviously very adept in this, because I don't know too much about it, but I posed one statement and then one question to you. Going along with what you said, I said in that last episode, the Democratic Party has done a very good job at basically getting the marginalized groups to attach themselves to them.
Right.
And that's just because that's what being democratic is. It's helping people. That's what people view it as. Being a liberal is just helping people, all of that stuff. But we've gotten to the point where they just assume people's votes, and they're not working for certain groups' votes.
Right.
That's what a lot of people within the black community have said this election cycle. That's why I said in episode 6, I said you need to work for my vote. So when I think of my future voting, I'm going to vote for whether it's president or anybody else, whoever going to vote for my interests. That's the progression of science, but also who are going to help things within my own community, such as police brutality and stuff like that. But then my question to you, because I didn't really get the best answer because I don't necessarily know, but I would like to see what you think. What do you think it is ultimately better for society, voting for your own interests or voting for the greater good? If you vote for your own interests, then the output of the vote is the general consensus of the public. But if you vote for the greater good, then I don't know. Or is it both?
I think it does have to be a solid balance of both, and I do hate to play that card, but obviously for some people the greater good is their own personal interest.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
And what a lot of people said with Lil Wayne when he had the little Donald Trump not spat, but when he came out and said he was a Trump supporter, is people did think that he was I can't say the words, 4-letter words, the uncle insult, because I do feel as if Donald Trump is a racist, and I feel like there could have been a lot better candidates for the Republican side that could have done a way better job of getting the black outreach. When people did call Lil Wayne selfish for even thinking to vote for the Republican Party, what I do feel like people just aren't thinking about is the aspect of black economics. And if Donald Trump actually did have a plan called the Platinum Plan for black economics, he never mentioned it in his debates. It probably would have been a helping point, but that probably shows you how much he actually cared and how much himself actually individually had to do with that project. But Joe Biden didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
I feel like with Joe Biden, he didn't really have to run a good campaign because his campaign was that he wasn't Donald Trump.
Exactly. That was my problem with Biden before.
The thing is, a lot of people
worked well for him, very well.
Yeah.
I don't really know if it worked well. It worked good enough because his candidate.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
But-
well. I mean,
Yeah.
he's president. Nobody could say no.
I mean, but the crazy thing is that some people were saying, "Oh, I'm voting for Kamala." Like,
But-
dang.
they really got faith that he gonna kick the bucket.
Realistically, I do feel as if Kamala tries to play this black card a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When she was in California, she jailed a whole bunch of black people for marijuana, which disproportionately affects black people. I do feel like she tries to play the black card more than she tries to play the Asian card.
Because she can.
Yeah, and I feel like remember the Tims she was wearing,
Oh.
and they tried to
She
hype that
wore
up like
Tims?
she was. No, she
Yeah,
wore the
you-
nasty Tims, like the
Oh.
Tim boots,
Yeah.
not like the.
Dang.
They were the wrong Tims, bro.
Yeah, and like, do you even think Kamala Harris wraps her hair up at night?
Who are stylists? All right, let's not get into all that.
What's her hair?
What the hell?
I don't know.
She's like a 1C.
Hey,
I don't
yo.
even know.
You coming for her hair quality?
Oh
It's not
shoot.
even coming for the quality, and this isn't even something that I've come up with myself. Really,
Yeah.
is that I'm on Twitter a lot. I have seen how members of the black community reacted to Kamala and this hype of her being the first black vice president. But it's almost like they're trying to portray her as a sister.
Yeah,
almost.
they're trying to, and you know what? I bet the people behind her, you know how you have your advisors. I bet the people behind her tell her to like come off in this.
If she
way.
was 5% black, like if she looked on Ancestry.com and said that, you think they would still claim her to be the first black vice president?
She's too deep in. No.
I don't know. I mean, they've already set out the claim. You can't unclaim the claim, but I mean, I don't know, man.
And
I mean,
then-
it's certainly interesting.
You seen the Black Lives Matter movement, the organization? They reached out to Joe Biden to set up a meeting, and they posted about it on Instagram way back when. I'm pretty sure it was like 45 days from the day he was elected. They still hadn't met with Joe Biden,
Right.
and they still hadn't set up a meeting. And I do feel as if the black people that did come out to vote with the Go Vote movement, they did help elect Joe Biden as president.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he's rectifying that same support back. As you can see with him giving citizenship to the 11 million illegal immigrants in a time where our economy is struggling because of the pandemic.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, one, it's a slap in the face to the people who have come here legally, such as my mom, but not even trying to play that card. There's issues in the black community who are Americans now that he's just almost skipping over. I'll take it as disrespect.
Yeah. So when did this happen? So you said he let in 11 million?
Well, he's proposing a plan to give 11 million illegal immigrants a pathway to citizenship.
He'll probably do that in the first 100 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And
Well,
it just came out.
dang. Well, I mean, shoot, the way you put it, it's like, well, yeah, in time of pandemic, you know, we need to support the people that have been here too. But
Yeah, I feel like there's not enough support and help to Americans here helping
Where do your
our own
priorities
people.
lie?
Right.
Yo, what are your ideas on the Trillion Tree Act? What's your stance? No,
Man,
I'm playing. I'm playing.
Don't get Caleb started on this damn million, billion, trillion, quadrillion tree act, man.
But
This is
anyway,
crazy.
what I really go ahead. Huh? What? What are you doing? What the heck was that?
All right, go for it.
All right. Are y'all talking? Cause I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna ask you is, what's your solution, or what do you see as some likely solutions?
Well, I'll start this off by saying I really dislike Candace Owens and her movement of the Plantation Act. I do feel like it's disrespectful to black people for saying that they're on a plantation, because slavery is such a sensitive topic that, for good reason too. Slavery, even just like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. Martin Luther King, when we think about him, we see pictures of him in black and white and think it was a long time ago.
Right.
But realistically, my dad was alive
Yeah.
when Martin Luther King was killed.
Mine as well.
Right. That's crazy.
Right. So I feel like Candace Owens, if you know what a grifter is, she's someone who
Not sure.
who exploits political beliefs for money. And what Candace Owens is,
all politicians, huh?
not necessarily.
But many.
She's not a politician, but what she is she's a black person. She's almost like I have a black friend. I can't be racist for Republicans that are racist. And
okay.
So she'll do things like disrespect George Floyd, point out his past all with all respect to Candace Owens, actually all disrespect to Candace Owens, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I feel like
and that's
a government entity should have no reason to kill George Floyd in the manner it is. Even if he was a serial killer, he's still guaranteed these constitutional rights.
And do you think they dug up his past while they were addressing the crime? Like, what correlation does
I don't
have?
even
Killing
I don't care that he was high. It's just the fact that the police can be the judge, jury, and executioner in a time where due process is a founding principle that this country was founded on makes that weird. But to to swing that back to your original topic on what's the solution.
And I meant solution towards, like, because you said, when I'm asked your solution, you said, well, Biden, you didn't want to vote for Biden or Trump. So what's your solution to that too?
Well, I think the solution would to be for anybody to be open-minded, and I guess I'm specifically talking to the African American community, but make them earn your vote. I don't think the Democrats, and even though I do sway on the conservative side, make the conservatives earn your votes, because
I agree.
You don't owe them anything.
Me harping on the Democratic Party doesn't excuse the Republican Party's horrible race relations with people of color.
Yeah.
Talk to them, John.
And you're good. Wow. And you're right to do that, because the Democratic Party was supposed to be the party to help out the minority communities, and they haven't been doing it.
Yeah, because if you look at the states and the cities that are filled with black people, that are filled with crime and poverty and whatnot, they are ran by Democrats. And go ahead.
Caleb, we talked about this in like a couple episodes, like bits and pieces, but generally uninformed communities making these decisions and feeling as if their vote is supposed to be given to someone specifically for the party they belong to.
Yeah.
But I do feel as if black people are more conservative than people may give them thought for, because the hip hop community, they've embraced the capitalist idea and capitalism more than anybody I have, and it's just put in ways that most white people can't understand. Because when you think about somebody from the hood, what are they're always talking about rat chasing.
Yeah.
Most rap music, they always mention money, always mention how they grinded.
Yeah.
And these are all
foreign.
No.
To white people.
No. That's not what I was saying. But these are all cornerstones to conservatism, is this economic freedom and being able to build up your own community without the help of the government.
Right.
But the problem is with a lot of black communities, whether it be the Tulsa race riots, and you know what the Tulsa race riots are? See, and that's
I think I've heard.
That's another thing, is black history isn't being taught in schools as well as it should.
Right.
Because most people didn't even know what Juneteenth was until this year. I knew 2 years ago, and damn near 80% of my friends are black.
Right.
Just simple stuff like that. And the fact that they want to erase black history, because black history is American history. Mm-hmm. And they want to erase black history, and then conservatives want to have a problem when they want to take down statues of racist people. Mm-hmm. But in all reality, y'all's history has been erased, because nobody knows what the Tulsa race riots were. Mm-hmm. But it was in the 1920s. Tulsa, it was known as Black Wall Street.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Of black economics.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing to see. And it was burnt down by the white people in the surrounding communities. Mm-hmm. People killed, and there's no justice for it. Mm-hmm. And just like that, things that they had worked for, gone.
And forgotten, because it's
never talked about. And then when you talk about even Martin Luther King, we always talk about how he was the peaceful, he was like, people, even with the Black Lives Matter movement in the summers, they would talk about
the pacifist.
Yeah, talk about how he was pacifist. They need to be more like him. First off, Colin Kaepernick didn't burn no shit down.
Yeah.
So if y'all had a problem with that, then damn, what the hell what do y'all think is gonna happen?
Yeah, I agree.
But we don't talk about Malcolm X isn't brought to the spotlight by white people as much as Martin Luther King.
Because they were.
And even Martin Luther King, we always talk about his "I Have a Dream" speech, but there are plenty of other quotes and speeches talked about by him that are just not brought to the spotlight because of the white people and the society we have. They don't. It just, what he said doesn't go along with the agenda they want to push.
Mm-hmm.
But
aside from all this, it takes people like you, especially you being non-black, but having this depth of knowledge. Not everybody has to have as much knowledge as you, but it takes people like you. I can really appreciate. I truly, honestly appreciate the perspective that you're bringing.
Right, and it's just a weird balance because I don't want to tell black people how to act, how to do anything, and I don't want to come off as trying to be a savior. But you guys, most of my like friends are black, like sports figures. The way I dress, I emulate a lot of black figures.
Yeah,
and it's only right for me being as smart as I am, me being as blessed as I am, to notice the oppression by the U.S. government, by black people. And the most I can do is make suggestions, because at the end of the day, the majority of black people are going to want to hear it from another black person.
Yeah.
But I just have to be the bridge between non-black people and people of color and black people.
But you're wrong.
You should be the
John.
Next Sean King.
You're wrong, because there's a.
I'm sorry. I just had to fit that.
Man, Sean King, from the bottom of my heart. He's not even black, and he stole money from Tamir Rice's family.
What is he?
Who?
Sean King.
Sean King. You know who Sean King is?
I know. I've never seen what he looks like. I know.
Oh
who he is.
man,
Let me pull up a picture.
He's not black.
No.
The way he be talking, I thought he was black.
Everybody thinks
and that's
Sean King
the thing
black.
is, I'm not gonna say no names.
Hey yo, are you serious? Are you serious? Bro, I thought he was black.
Yeah.
No, he thinks no, bro. He like.
Oh
he,
my god.
He got like exposed for not being black.
Oh my gosh, bro! I thought he was black.
Wow, that is
No,
funny.
and the thing is, for anybody who wants to act woke at Oakleaf, a lot of people try to portray as being woke.
Yeah.
They post Sean King
Bruh.
on Instagram, knowing that, I don't know, even liberals, they don't like Sean King.
No.
As soon as you educate yourself on Sean King, you'll just hate him immediately.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
They call him like Chalkus Garvey or
Yeah.
Talcum X.
Yeah.
Funny.
But
John, you were wrong on one part, because you said that you can only give suggestions, but no, you can teach regardless of your race.
I could
because
teach.
knowledge
I could teach
has
the
no
white
boundaries.
people. I could be the person that talks to white people about
No,
what
I'm
people
saying
in the
like
hood.
generally, it might be a hot take, but black people feel like we should keep things black only, but you know,
Yeah, that's
the way that we are progressing, it can't be like that.
Yeah, and you know what?
We have to show love for everyone, show love for all their opinions. But there are wrong people, and those they should be held accountable for what they say. But you're speaking nothing but facts. So this should be.
I've been wrong before.
No, but I'm saying what you just said is speaking nothing but facts, and that should be taken into account regardless of what your race is, not as a suggestion, but as a teaching.
No,
And
I
I was gonna-
appreciate it.
yeah.
I appreciate that. You can go on.
I was gonna add something to what you said, but I couldn't say it any better. That was great. But yeah, absolutely. Crap, I forgot what I was gonna say because you said something beautiful, man. Honestly, I had something to say. I forgot. Oh yeah, no. So what I was gonna say was what John said and what Emery's been saying relates back to episode 8, and I said that many people right now have a broken ecology within their soul, within their own heart, right? People are going through agony and pain, and we are truly blessed to hold these microphones in our hand and talk for 2 hours about these topics, these real fundamental topics. In this blessing, with great power comes great responsibility. It is our duty, our responsibility it is our responsibility to realize this agony that other people that aren't able to hold these mics can.
Empathy is the strongest emotion.
Absolutely. So it's our responsibility to realize that agony, and in their darkness, we must be the light. I don't care how many views we get on this podcast, we must be the light. This is why I try to reach so many people. This is why we try to reach people, is because we need to be this light. We need to be this light.
Enlightened.
And the Enlightened Brothers.
Enlightened brothers.
And John, I can safely say, welcome to the family.
Welcome to the Enlightened family. Real handshake, man.
Real handshake. White people handshake.
But real quick, we gotta wrap it up, boys.
All right.
Oh man, it's been fun though.
Yeah, we gonna end with the freestyle. You know what?
Yeah, man. No, actually, we also always ask the guests at the end of the episode, what has your Enlightened Brothers experience been like? What do you think of the show?
It's been amazing. I've had someone rant to me, and I had y'all listen to me rant, and I guess it's good to have somebody who genuinely cares and genuinely wants to gain knowledge about something like politics, which I do feel strongly about. I do feel like I do have a future in it.
But also,
You absolutely do.
I just like the speaking portion, because honestly, I was thinking about it last night. I was like, damn, what if I mess up? And like, I'm not the best behind the camera. I'm not experienced as much as y'all, but it was good. It was just good learning. It was just a good learning experience. It was good for me to branch into something like a podcast, because I usually don't like speaking with a mic and getting behind a camera. Yeah. But it was just, I felt like I was doing better and getting better as I got on, and I didn't even come that prepared. So I do feel like if I came prepared like Caleb and prepared like Emery, I do feel like I'll just, my podcast experience and just how well I do at this will only improve.
Well, trust me on this. You'll have plenty of experience, because
you're going to be a recurring guest.
You are certainly, if you are willing, you can certainly be a recurring guest. You can come on the show whenever you'd like.
Enlightened Trio,
baby.
And it's beautiful because every single guest that we get, every single perspective that we take in, we're just leveling up. So episode 13, we on level 13.
Let's go to new levels, man.
And we're going to be on level 13.5 with this freestyle. Caleb, hit me with a beat.
All right, let's go.
John, you're going to be on this too. I'm going to pass it off to you.
Boom, 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 boom,
hey,
boom, boom,
hey,
boom,
yeah,
boom, boom,
yeah,
boom,
get me right.
Boom, boom, boom.
Episode 13 in the spotlight. Biden about to take the hot seat and the mic. But I'm here. I need a beer. And I'm about to drown it down like a tear on my eye. Pass it to John, cause he's my guy. Here you go, buddy. Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Boom,
getting money real quick. Coronavirus. Yeah, I'm getting sick. I'm looking good. She might want to lick. Next. Flick. Hey.
Hey, you're sliding though.
No, I could have done better, bro.
Yeah, no, we were messing up the beat a little bit because you were actually doing good. But hey, man, we gotta go. I'm sorry, I gotta get to basketball practice. We could have done this thing for 2.5 hours if we wanted.
Yeah.
This has been an absolutely special episode 13. Remember, I love y'all. I'm truly blessed that y'all.
Hey, but before I go, was I the best guest?
We don't do rankings.
No, we do
we
rankings.
don't rank. We don't rank.
Everybody enlightening us.
We can't. Everybody's a part of the Enlightened family, but I can be certain and say
we had a good
John
discussion.
was absolutely amazing, and he will definitely be back.
That's how I do it, baby.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. One more thing. We're continuing the poll from last episode down in the comment section below. So please go like the comment that you would like to see us continue to do in the podcast, and we're gonna do it
because there's no debate today. But yeah, you know what? And also, this is our first week of uploading 2 episodes in the same week. In uploading 2 episodes per week, you'll be able to see guests like John more, and we'll be getting more content out because we have lots of stuff to talk about. So you know what? This episode has been so packed, and I think all of us feel like we could have said more. Yeah. So we'll probably have a part 2 of this episode coming soon. So you know what? It's been great though. Let's go ahead and head out. Peace and love, man.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. We love you. Goodbye.
Peace and love.
Man, I was freestyling. You should have been told me that.